So here we are on the third take of this video because I keep constantly messing it up. Either I didn't have the microphone going or something else. There was always one thing or another. I'm going to try to do this without making it obvious that I'm really irritated. So this video is about what happens to inattentive people. And uh, now, what's meant by inattentive people? These are people that just naturally don't value details or don't care or oversimplify things and stuff like that. People that uh, are the people that just naturally do not worry about anything, and they meanwhile the people that are worrying are actually modifying and improving their address of the matter and of ideas and stuff. Mind you, details are not necessarily just sensory details, but they're also like logical implications and decisions and analysis and ways to analyze things, um, or express things mathematically in your head. Um, the deeper meanings of language and stuff like that. Things that involve looking past the obvious and applying knowledge and comprehension and stuff. It's not just sensory details again. Um, so yeah, let's just get to it because I've shot this too many times and I'm really irate right now. I'm actually about to just stop recording right now, um, but I'm gonna hold on here. Um, so one thing, these people end up in jail, prison, or in trouble. A lot of times these are the people that find too much of the wrong energy to do something. They get overexcited. Um, then I don't know. They hit something with their car that they should never hit in a million years. Or they hit somebody with their car. Um, they they lash out and assault somebody. Um, you know, yeah. So know that. Um, they end up getting verbally counseled at work. Um, and even worse, they can get put on the what's called performance improvement plan. Now, mind you, your workplace does not have to necessarily have to follow protocols in the sense that that's what they do. They might prescriptively, like by the law or by company policy, need to do that, but they do not necessarily do that and stuff. If you are put on a performance improvement plan, you or something to that effect, or you're being verbally counseled, you really, really badly need to change your formula or recipe up and stuff. Um, yeah, the company needs a reason to uniquely keep you in addition to you just doing your job. Okay. Um, yeah, losing and mind you, losing your job could mean anywhere from 3 weeks, 2 months, sometimes even years until you find something that's that can even just get you break even money. Forget about having a lucrative job. Um, you might just end up with break even money. That's the reality of it. So, um, write ups. Yeah, write ups in school work. These happen to inattentive people. Because again, inattentive people, they don't know what to get into, and it it just leads to that them putting themselves in such a manner where they're going to do something that's going to get them written up and stuff. Writing up in workplace um, prescriptively happens after verbal counseling. Doesn't necessarily even need to happen. They could just straight up fire you. That's just how it is. I've seen it all too often, and I'm grateful and thankful that I have never been fired. Okay, tickets, arrests, yeah, those are more, I guess, I'm not going to say basic forms of trouble with the police, but um, there are certainly something that can happen if you don't pay attention to details. Um, you might even get your ass beat and stuff. People who don't watch how they act towards others or what they say, um, even online and stuff, under belief of anonymity and stuff. Yeah, it's happened. What else? Traumatic loops. Meaning you might just end up re-traumatizing yourself, re-traumatizing yourself, re-traumatizing yourself because you're not getting the difference between a traumatic factor, an inherently harmful factor, something you should tolerate, or something that is harmless and stuff. I I, I can't stress this enough. People, it's idiotic behavior, and you want to be a person who's attentive to details for that reason. Um, Poverty, yeah. I mean, of course, people discount the real value of the things they buy. They discount um, what it really costs. They discount how to get around costs. There's so much discounting that happens. It's so obvious that inattentive behavior leads to poverty. Um, Sometimes even refunding something has a cost to it. You have to be extremely careful with your money, and extremely careful not to waste it, meaning not to spend it on things that are discretionary that that you that you don't need, or that you might not even want 2 weeks later. You know, um, People who are inattentive are prone to becoming a loser. They fail life's trials, crucibles, and tests, which sort of work as selection mechanisms. Those hard parts in your life and stuff. Um, in one way or another, everybody goes through them to some degree or some manner and stuff. Um, Granted, uh, there's some people uh, that are born just having it better. They have better parents, or their family has more money, and they can just get around problems with less effort for that reason. Fine, but life will hold you accountable if you fail its trials, crucibles, and tests. Um, you have to look at these hard events as a decisive factor in the difference of whether you're strong and you're going to achieve and survive, or whether you're just some some pussy who's going to be steamrolled over, basically. A lot of the times, it's not even that much of a physical challenge. There's no reason to to fear and succumb for that reason. Um, People who are inattentive details end up in hospitals, or they're sick or injured and stuff. These are the people that never watch, how, the fact that they touch their face or put their fingers in their mouth, or that don't wash their hands, or people that look at their phone while crossing the street in a very busy, high traffic street and stuff. You know, th- these people, they're just, they, you know, like when it comes to their body and what's going on, the safety factors of what's going on in their environment, they just don't pay attention. They end up in hospital sick or injured. I've met people who've had kayaks shoved into their stomach, people who've cracked their skull. I've had um, I've met people who um, had their car flipped over in an accident and messed up 6 or 7 discs in their spine. These are all people who will never be the same again, because of that one moment they decide to drop their guard in the wrong time, in such a scenario. You know, I'm not talking about the people who stay at home with like a tinfoil hat or a helmet because they're so extremely hypochondriac or paranoid or nervous. I'm talking about the people who who look at their smartphone while crossing a street with cars that are passing, cars that don't necessarily practically need to stop in front of them. Um, you you really, like, I mean, a lot of this stuff seems like common sense, but I'm putting it all in um, a convenient enough breath to give everyone a fair shot. Um, and with that, I think I should do a video on physical safety next. So, yeah, with that, I think I've covered everything. Now you know the different things that can happen to the inattentive people, or people who discount details. This discounting tendency, this tendency to feel like you're just satisfied with um, everything, it's a bad habit. It's going to destroy your education, your learning, and stuff. I mean, I kind of touched on that when I talked about becoming a loser. Um, you should not. You should always try to learn more about your environment, what has been, or what can be there and stuff. Um, and you should, well, you should pay attention to details. Um, there's no need for me to wrap up and recap too much because we've already recorded everything, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Goodbye. Thank you.